special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation is now turning into a witch hunt. It needs to be shut down immediately. We'll explain in tonight's opening monologue. All right, here on this program, we have been telling you something, well, very few in the mainstream media will, how the FBI director, James Comey, is nothing more than a calculating, cunning, partisan political hack who has thrived in the D.C. swamp. Now, tonight we're going to expose his relationship to the special counsel that he wanted so desperately that he leaked to the New York Times, and that is Robert Mueller. And we'll explain why this investigation is nothing more than a witch hunt that is aimed to take down the President of the United States. There is also a massive double standard that is being completely ignored here. And it's something the mainstream media won't tell you about. We will do their job. Now, during his testimony last week, the former FBI director, J. Edgar Comey, he revealed that President Trump was never under investigation, that there was no obstruction of justice, and that the media was lying to you about the Russia collusion, Trump collusion conspiracy theories that they have been pushing now for almost 10 months. Now, Comey also admitted that he's, well, no other way to say it, kind of a coward. Take a look.
Maybe if I were stronger, I would have. I was so stunned by the conversation that I just took it in. Again, maybe other people would be stronger in that circumstance, but that's how I conducted myself. That was kind of a slightly cowardly way of trying to avoid telling him we're not going to do that.
Cowardly? Maybe if I was stronger? So Comey's excuse for not standing up to the president during these alleged conversations is that he's basically the cowardly lion from the Wizard of Oz and too scared? Now, if Comey thought what he says happened was wrong, then guess what? He had a moral and, more importantly, a legal obligation to come forward and report this. By not doing so, and we're putting the law up on the side of the screen, 18 U.S. Code 4, he may have broken the law. Now, that's just the beginning of Comey's potential legal troubles. Now, during last week's hearing, well, and this part is stunning, Comey admitted that he intentionally gave his memo to his friend that works at Columbia University to be leaked to the press, hoping it would lead to his special counsel, his friend. Watch this.
Did you show copies of your memos to anyone outside of the Department of Justice?
Yes.
And to whom did you show copies?
I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. Didn't do it myself for a variety of reasons, but I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel. And so I asked a close friend of mine to do it.
And was that Mr. Wittes?
No.
Who was that?
A good friend of mine who's a professor at Columbia Law School.
By the way, the tape issue, whether it's there or not there, a brilliant move by President Trump. Now, what Comey is admitting to under oath cannot be overlooked here or understated. His end goal was the appointment of this special counsel, which just so happens to turn out to be his longtime friend, Robert Mueller. Now, we're going to dive into that massive conflict of interest in just a second, but let's continue with Comey having his friend leak information in the New York Times. By doing that, Comey could be putting himself, again, in serious legal trouble. Now, we're putting up the pertinent parts of 18 U.S. Code 641 on the side of your screen. If those memos were classified, which, by the way, we believe they are, and several legal experts are arguing they are, Comey may have broken the law. By the way, it's government property. And by the way, it's also likely that Comey created those memos on government computers in a government truck, making it property of the U.S. government, not James Comey. In addition to that, there are non-disclosure agreements that the FBI rules that exist that James Comey also could have violated. And also tonight, James Comey's relationship with the special counsel, Robert Mueller, is a massive conflict of interest. It's why it is time to now shut down this political witch hunt that is really aimed at stopping the president, delegitimizing him, and hopefully, in the minds of some, making sure he gets thrown out of office. That's that serious. Now, let's look at the facts here for a second. You have James Comey, who told Congress he wanted to get a special counsel. And guess what? When it happened, it was his longtime friend, Robert Mueller, was named to lead the investigation. And Fox News reported last week that Comey's testimony was, quote, closely coordinated with Robert Mueller and the special counsel. So you have a guy, Comey, who is beyond disgruntled and angry after being fired by the president. And now one of Comey's closest friends is leading the investigation as the special counsel. Now, I don't care if you're left, right, Republican, Democrat. Does that sound fair, honest, objective to you? Of course not. And at this point, by the way, it's the president's word versus Comey's. So who do you think Mueller's going to side with? It's why our colleague and friend Greg Jarrett, who will be joining us in just a moment, will explain a lot more, is calling out what is an obvious conflict of interest. Now, according to Greg, Comey and Mueller's relationship may violate, in fact, 2 federal laws. Here's the first one, and you can just read it there on the side of your screen. Disqualification arising from personal or political relationship, which seems to perfectly define what is going on here with Comey and Mueller. And there's another part of the law right there. You can see it, the conduct and accountability part, which basically says the Attorney General can fire a special counsel if he has a conflict of interest. And if that's not bad enough, then there's this from thehill.com. 4 members of Mueller's team have donated to Democrats. Oh, imagine if conservatives tried to do this, Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton. This is beyond now ridiculous, and another reason why this special counsel, Mueller, needs to be shut down immediately, on top of the fact that we know there's no collusion.